Hello, second graders. Today's an exciting day. We are going to be testing our hand pollinators and see if they do a good job. So you're going to need your flower model. So hopefully you have that. Remember, it should have that long, skinny thing, some sort of petals and flower on it, and then some way of having some sort of pollen. And there's not a ton of pollen in there. You could remember you can use salt, pepper, sugar, flour, cornstarch. I crushed up some crackers because that's what I had here at work. So find whatever works to make some pollen. If you find sand, if you find dirt, if you go and find real flower pollen outside. There's hibiscus flowers blooming right now and have a lot of pollen too, so that could be a fun one to look at. Or you can even later test your pollinator, hand pollinator on real flowers. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to do the testing phase, and then we're going to decide whether it did a good job or not. Now, if we were in the classroom, we would all be testing our pollinators, and we would be comparing our pollinators to one another to see, hey, who did a better, which pollinator was more efficient. But we don't have that this year, so unfortunately, we are just going to decide whether it's a good enough pollinator or not. So the way I'm going to test is I have a black piece of paper here. And I just did black because I need you to be able to see it on screen, but just a piece of paper. And what we're going to do is we are going to test our pollinator. So I told you there's some concerns about my hand pollinator, about it being a little too bulky now, but I'm going to go ahead and use it as is. I can always change my design and retest later. That's why science and engineering is so fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pollinator in there. I'm going to see if I can get some pollen, and I'm going to lift it back up. And now I'm going to tap it onto my piece of paper. Let me set down my model here and see how much pollen I got. So I'm going to do a couple taps, and hopefully we can see this. Okay. Can you see my pollen? Here, I'll cover my face. So there's all my pollen. What do you think? Think my pollinator did a good job? My hand pollinator? I think it was a pretty good amount. So we're going to record the results, and what you're going to do is you're going to go onto your Seesaw, and you're going to evaluate your tool, the effectiveness, and draw how much pollen landed on your flower, which is just a piece of paper today. So first of all, the construction. You're going to go over your pollinator you created. How well did it stay together? Did it fall apart? You're going to circle the frowny face if it just didn't work. Only a small part fell off and it wasn't needed. You can do the smiley face, or it held up completely in a big smiley face. So what do you think? How'd mine do? Yeah, I'd get a great big smiley face. I'd circle that one because it held up. Now the effectiveness. Did it have no pollen? Did not pass the test? No, I had pollen. Okay, only a few specks of pollen. I think I had more than a few. A few would only just be a handful. A medium amount of pollen, or a large amount of pollen. So I'm going to say I have a lot of pollen still in here, so I think I'm going to circle good. I'm not going to circle the highest because I don't think that's a lot of it. So it's going to be up to you to decide whether you think it was a lot or a little. Okay, and then you draw your little specks about how many you had. And then we're not done yet. So what I want you to do is go back and think about this process. Was it hard sticking to the plan when you were building? So you had a picture you drew. Did you stick to that plan or did you change it? And that happens a lot. What problems did you come across? Was the process easier or harder than you thought? What improvements could be made? Was your pollinator effective? So all these thoughts. I think I would actually try and remove one of these and see if that was better, because maybe they were just too squished in the bottom and I think I need to open more. So I would almost go back and remove something and test again. And maybe I'd go back and just try the one and see which one. So I could keep this paper, set it aside, do my next test, and compare. That's what good scientists do. So what improvements will you make for your next test is I would go ahead and remove one of these little guys. Woo! Okay, I guess I can't do it right now. I probably will break it, so I'll take some time to remove that and, discuss what you will do to change it. So have fun testing. I can't wait to see how much pollen, if your pollinator worked, and if it didn't, don't get discouraged. You can always remodel it, redo it, and try it again. All right, scientists, I'll see you next time.